Greetings, I am Dr. Rajni and today I shall be discussing the challenges of cultural diversity. Let's begin with the first question. What is the importance of community identity in sociology? Well, if you look at it, community identity provides us with the cultural values through which we see the world, and also it gives us a mother tongue. So, if we look at it, the shared characteristics shape the individuals and the collective experience. So, you can add these points in your answer. Next question. What are the features of ascriptive identity and community feeling? So, if we look at ascriptive identity, it is an identity that is rooted in birth. That is, it is not an individual choice or someone's achievement. Now, this ascriptive identity is accidental, unconditional, inescapable in the sense that it is difficult to change. Even if an individual wants to disown their identity, but the others will still identify that individual by those cultural markers. So what happens is that these shared experiences gives a kind of emotional anchor. So we have ascriptive identities like mother tongue, family, faith, etc. Next question. What is a nation? So basically a nation is a large scale community or a community of communities. So here there is this sense of shared cultural identity which is based on either history or language or ethnicity or territory, etc. So what we have is that feeling where the people see themselves as a part of a large group, and there is this desire for self-governance that constitutes a nation. So this nation is manifesting itself in the form of a state. When we talk about a state, we're talking about a political entity. Now the next question, how can we distinguish a nation from other kinds of communities based on race, language, culture, etc.? So when we're talking about communities, communities can be varied, like they can be based on these criteria, race, language, culture, etc. And when we're talking about a nation, we're talking about a group of people who are sharing a particular identity, and this identity is manifested through the coming in of a state. So basically, nations are communities that have a state of their own. Now, when we talk about, say, a state, state is a political entity. That is, it has definite borders, it has a government, as opposed to a nation, which is a group of people who are having a shared identity. Now, when it is hyphenated nation, hyphenated state, that means this is a combination of a nation and a state. What are the dominant sources of political legitimacy? So when we're talking about legitimacy, we're talking about something that is rightful. And we have democracy. Democracy is basically showing that it represents the will of the people through the form of a government, and the people are choosing their elective representatives, and also anyone can stand for elections. So nation is a proper justification for a state. Anyone, when you're talking about nationalism, nationalism basically means that the people are, the group of people are expressing their loyalty or their devotion to the nation instead of highlighting their individual or their group interest. Their devotion or their loyalty lies to the nation. So people are the ultimate source of the legitimacy of the nation. Now, when we're looking at this question, is it possible to have a strong nation without having to homogenize different types of community identities into one standard type? The answer is yes. So, like for example, India, there's a lot of cultural diversity, and what we have is people of different communities. They are coexisting because they are sharing the same values. They have common goals, and we find a kind of inclusive citizenship, so as to speak. And this inclusive citizenship is based on democratic principles. So yes, it is possible to have a strong nation. You do not need to homogenize the different communities. If the communities have a sense of what is their rights and responsibilities as being citizens of the country, then we have an inclusive kind of citizenship. So you can go over these points. Next question. Does India allow dual citizenship? The answer is no. India has OCI, Overseas Citizenship of India. So holding that, you cannot vote or hold government position. Next question. Is India a nation state or is India a state nation? So the answer here is India is a state nation. So, if you look at it, India has immense diversity in terms of ethnic, in terms of languages, in terms of the different groups. So this coexistence, of these diverse identities within a single political group or polity is what is a state nation. So the if you look at it, the political boundaries do not coincide with the cultural boundaries. So this shows that India is a state nation as it is accommodating diverse identities, and the citizens are maintaining their unique identity, their unique cultural identity, uh, because India is a secular nation, and a secular nation means that you're allowing the citizens to practice their unique cultural identity. Next question. What are the challenges to a state nation? So you have regionalism, where there is strong regional sentiments. Then you have caste-based discrimination. There is also religious tension. There can be also rise of extremist ideologies, or economic inequalities, and also external interventions. So you can mention all those. What is regionalism in the Indian context? Now, when we look at regionalism, it is rooted in the diversity of language, culture, tribes, and religion. So, what we have is that people are identifying very strongly with their, geographical region or state, and this is because of the concentration of these identity markers in those particular regions. So what we have is the sense of religious deprivation is something that aggravates regionalism, and we have the Indian federal system accommodating these regional sentiments. What is minority in sociological terms? Now, put in this question because it is important to understand minority just doesn't mean numerically less in number, but it also has a strong connotation of the sense of deprivation. The next question too, communalism is relevant in the sense that you need to understand that it means that there is this political identity which is based on religion. So know these two definitions or have an understanding of these concepts. Now, last question, what is civil society? So when we talk about civil society, we're talking about this kind of voluntary get together of people who take up voluntary action and they organize themselves to bring about a change. So this is active citizenship. Now remember that this is not a part of the state, or is it part of a profit making entity, right? So also know that social issues are taken up, and what we have is that these people are holding the government accountable, and what we have is they are making demands on the state for looking into matters, and this civil society sort of fosters a more kind of inclusive and a more responsive society. The example that you can mention is the RTI, or the right to information. Now we've come to an end of this presentation. As you can see on your screen, these are the questions that have been gone over, and I would like you to practice these questions, and all the best.